Alicia Adolph and Jeff Eslinger from the North Dakota Association of Counties. They're going to talk about professional development managers and stuff like that. So, thank you guys.
Thank you. Not to do any one-upsmanship, but our boss wore a kilt today, so you haven't seen him yet. You don't want to. It's not a pretty sight. He was actually on a video call when I left, and he's got a suit and tie on, but they didn't see the bottom half. So, so again, my name is Jeff Eslinger. I'm with the Association of Counties. I've got a couple of little fun things for you. For the person who's fastest and loudest to tell me, how many of you have heard of the Association of Counties? Any? Okay, your hand went up first, coming in hot there. These are little phone holders. You put this on your desk, and if your phone is small, he peeks over your phone at you, and if it's one of those big ones, well, he just holds the phone for you. So, how about some? We'll do a little quick trivia. Who can tell me, first and loudest, how many counties are there in North Dakota? 53. Had some very close ones, had a 2 and a 4. Which county in North Dakota has the largest land mass? Mackenzie. Oh, oh! Hey, that was a lot closer than I thought. How about smallest? I think it's, she said Foster, so fast. I think it's Eddy. Foster and Eddy are like, you know what, I'll say close enough. I'll say close enough. I can check it out later. Oh, I'm sorry. See, I overthrew over there, so. What's that? Okay, is there anybody here from Pembina County? Okay, then we'll go to the other side, other corner, Divide. Got a Divide? Okay, you get Kleenexes for being the farthest away from here. All right, so we'll get going on this. North Dakota Association of Counties. Oh, now I have to get my advancer. Here we go. That way, okay. So that's our mission, to provide leadership and services to the counties. As you've probably noticed, there is an association of everything. You are one. And so why not have an association of counties? Bigger question, why have one? A lot of stuff comes down from the federal and the state government that the counties have to do. If the counties had to staff up for each and every one of those things, your property taxes would be through the roof if you don't think they already are. So I have this brochure called The Benefits of Membership. I have them here. I'm going to put them on the back table or out here maybe. Would that be better? I've got a couple dozen of them just to let you know what we do. And also this presentation, if you want it, I've got my contact information at the end, so you don't have to take pictures of it if you see something that you're interested in following up on. But that is a PDF. That's just the first page. So this gives you an idea of the number of programs that we have. And I am going to whip through them really fast because I know that not all of them apply to you, but I still think it's interesting to know about them. And I know that I should back up just a little bit. One of the elements of our strategic plan, we do a strategic plan session every 3 years, and we're due to do that again this spring. In the last one of the important elements was to strengthen ties to other organizations, which we're doing right now. Isn't that great? So that list of programs, I got a pointer. So when you look at each one of these, almost every one of those came directly out of a strategic planning session where we said, okay, we're getting input from the counties that they need this new thing. And then we start figuring out a way to offer it. Sometimes it takes a few years. Sometimes we know what to do right away. So here we go. The county employer group, you're all covered by workers' compensation, right? As you may know, a small company pays a lot higher insurance premiums on their workers' compensation than a larger company because the number of employees, it gets spread out. It would be very unfair to have Slope County, for example. I think they've got about 30 employees, if even. compared to Cass County that has hundreds of employees. It would be unfair for them to have a huge difference in the premiums they pay. One blade operator slips on the ice and gets hurt, and it wipes out the whole department in Slope County, whereas in Cass County they probably have a couple of them sitting at home that day that can jump up and show up for work. So all employees of all counties are our employee. We don't literally pay them, but in terms of the eyes of the WSI organization, they see all of them as one employer. So we have all of a sudden become the largest employer, or the second largest employer in their program, and that has saved you taxpayers millions of dollars over the years. In fact, the very first year we implemented it, it saved nearly $3 million in premiums. Part of that is also we have, so we do the claims whoops. All right, come on. I'm going the wrong way. There we go. I got to learn my buttons. So the claims management we actually handle. So if you get hurt on the job and you're a county employee, our staff is the ones that deal with that. We've also got safety programs to keep people from getting hurt. And our safety program is one of the top in the state, and we can actually document how many fewer injuries we have in the counties now compared to before we started that program. And then the return to work program is also staffed by us, and what that means is if you get hurt and your doctor says you can't work for 3 weeks, we don't want you just sitting around at home watching TV for 3 weeks when you could be maybe doing another function for the county. Maybe there's something in the office that a person can handle that isn't the physical job that they have normally. If so, we'll do that, and that saves the county money, and it also keeps the employee from getting kind of used to not working, which can be a bad thing. We have human resources assistance for the counties. We actually have a person on staff that if counties having an HR issue that they feel is a little over their head, not all counties have an HR professional working for them on their staff. This is another one of those situations. Yeah, the larger counties have that, but the smaller counties don't. So they can call our guy and he can help out with that. There's also a consortium of county, state, school, or not state, local governments, counties, schools, parks, and others. And Alicia's going to tell you a lot more about that in a little bit. They've got a training conference coming up soon that you might be interested in. And again, I have brochures that I can leave out there for that. And then the Institute of Local Government, which I'm not going to tell you anything about because the person who runs it is right here, and she's going to do that. We have juvenile justice grants. There's a lot of federal money involved in helping prevent and also handle juvenile delinquency. We help the counties manage that money. Next Generation 911, that little $1.50 that you pay on your cell phone bill, comes to our office, and we employ the people and the projects that make that happen. As you may know, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you call 911, and let's say you can't talk, maybe you fell down a cliff or something and you dial 911 and you pass out, they can find you by triangulating your towers, right? Well, that only works if those towers are actually located where they're supposed to be and somebody has verified that with GIS. We do that. We actually have a person who goes out and goes, yep, it's here. Completely different topic, public administrator support services. There's a lot of folks that as they get older and they can no longer handle their legal affairs, usually that will fall on a family member. But if a person doesn't have any family that can handle it, they become basically a ward of the county in legal terms. We're not talking about physical care here, but legal care. We manage the money that the state provides for those programs. Here we have, traffic safety resource prosecutor. What this is, we've got a lawyer on, two lawyers that go out and train the prosecutors, the state's attorneys, so that when there's a drunk driving or a drug driving case, and not just driving, but other drug and alcohol related offenses, they get training because on the defense side, there are people who specialize in DUI, and they're very good at helping people get off, on lesser charges or get the charges dismissed and that sort of thing. And they got all kinds of tricks in their bag. Well, we try to train the prosecutors so that they know how to handle those cases, but also the officers to make sure that when they make a drug or alcohol arrest, they follow the procedures that make sure that it doesn't get thrown out of court. On the other side of that equation is the Vision Zero outreach program, which tries to prevent people from drunk driving and distracted driving and that sort of thing. This is a partnership with the state, NDDOT, and to a lesser extent, Highway Patrol. They're very interested in not having to arrest you for driving off the road while you're texting, or driving, worse than that, into somebody else while you're texting. And we have a person, actually 3 regionals. We're trying to hire a 4th, and then one person who manages them. And they go out to the schools and to events, and county fairs, all kinds of places. And they have like the simulators. If you've ever seen those goggles you can put on that make you feel, it messes up your vision, simulates being drunk. So they do all that kind of stuff to prevent the people having to encounter our other guy. We have several publications. I brought a few samples of those. Interesting to note for you folks is that we just this past year, again, part of trying to strengthen our relationship with our other organizations, we have a page dedicated to the work that you do. And we've got our county news comes out every other month. And so the 2nd issue just came out this past week. And there is an article in there about soil conservation service. And so we have that in there now. And again, I'll have that out there for you. We have a newsletter we send to legislators, and then separately a blog that some legislators are interested in, but mostly it's the county people interested in. So we can communicate with legislators about what the needs of counties are, why, for example, if we oppose a law that's being proposed in the legislature, if we're in support or opposed to it, it explains that to them so that we don't have to talk to each and every one of them, which can get old. But the blog is more general about, you folks might find information in there that you'd like during the session. The blog's up all the time, but it's only active really during the session that talks about the bills we're tracking and so forth. We are on social media. It's always at ND Counties. When you're looking for us, it's ND Counties. This is not something I'm going to go through with you, but it does show you that we have a process for how an idea becomes a resolution that we then promote as part of our legislative agenda. There's lots of different ways that somebody's got an idea, maybe that affects you folks, and you could bring that to us. We would want to channel you through one of our formal channels here. But if there is a bill that we should be concerned about, this is how we get it added to our legislative agenda, pro or con. And at the end, whoops, I went the wrong way. Right there, it says legislative agenda. We track over 400 bills most sessions, but we actively pursue about 100 to 150 where we're showing up in the chambers and lobbying. We don't like the word lobbying, but that's what we're doing. We have 4 major events. The annual conference is in October. We have a County Officials Academy, which is where you learn how to be a county official if you've recently been elected. That happens in the spring following every election year. And it also coincides with the legislative session. So we pretty much do all of the training, and then we say, hey, follow us. Let's go over to the Capitol and bend some arms and elbows. The HR conference is also every other year, but it's the other years. It's the non-legislative years. As you can see, coming up April 20th. And again, I'll have some information out there about that. And then the legislative wrap-up is a final event that we have to let counties know what legislation passed or didn't pass, what got put in front of them is now on their plates that's going to maybe cost them money or time, different changes that they might have to make as a result of the legislative session. We also do some tours. We used to do 2 per year, but it would take us 5 years to reach all the counties. So we've upped our game. We're going out at least 4 a year and reaching 3 to 4 counties. Obviously out west, you don't get to encounter as many counties every day because there's an hour between county seats, whereas out east, sometimes there's 20 minutes between county seats. But anyway, we are able to now reach all of the counties every 3 to 4 years. There are regional commissioner meetings. Those would be the ones that if you have something that you want to bring up to your the commissioners in your area, you could contact your auditor and ask if you can get put on the agenda to make a presentation. And there again, that's one of those groups that has access to eventually getting on our legislative agenda. So there are member associations. We are actually an association of associations. There's an auditors association, a treasurers association, a recorders association. They all, and commissioners have their own association. All together, they comprise our association, which formally was created in 1975. So we've been around a while. As I say, anyone who will have us, that would be like you. Oh, I went the wrong way. Got my finger off the buttons for, now I'm still going the wrong way. All right, so that's the contact information. And again, I can send you this whole presentation. In fact, hey, why don't we give it away? Let's see, what's a good trivia question? How about Cavalier? Is Cavalier County, is the city of Cavalier in Cavalier County or not? Yes or no? No. I think you were so you get the whole presentation and a free chip. One item I think I missed. It's not really our program anymore, but we used to support the county's technology needs directly. We had staff that did that. It got to be so big that we spun it off, and they are now a for-profit company that somehow or another we own. I'm not sure how a nonprofit company can own a profit company, but we do. And we don't make money off of them directly. But anyway, they are the absolute tech geniuses when it comes to counties, especially because they're on the state's so-called backbone of technology. And they are super hyper about cybersecurity. And one of the things that they have told us is to stop giving those away, because one of the ways that viruses travel now, it's a new thing, is that these free chips that you can buy online sometimes have viruses in them. So if you have done that, go through them like we have done with ours. We're down to hopefully just about, I think, a dozen of them left to make sure that they're not carrying viruses. Yes?
Just a quick question for you. So the HR assistance, is that, or any of these assistance options, do the SCDs pay for that service when we contact you? Or?
It depends. Like HR, if it's a question that involves a discussion, we don't clock by the hour. If you're developing a policy manual and you want help with that, you send us the policy manual and the person goes through it, then that would be the type of thing that they would have a fee involved. You know what? One item that I either just didn't notice or I didn't put on here because it's actually not there yet, but I did see a GIS map up here earlier that you're talking about Morton County. We have started a GIS program that's very much like the HR program in that not only do we use initials instead of words, which we do for everything, but GIS, I think you probably know, is what makes your phone know that it's time to turn left at this next corner. So the GIS system that's out there between Google Earth and government programs or whatever that have put that all together is unlocking just a tremendous amount of opportunity, and you folks should be taking advantage of that. All counties have somebody that's in charge of GIS, even if they're not professionally trained GIS people. That's why we started this program, so that, okay, Cass County's got like a team of GIS people. They don't need us. But most of the other counties do need a little bit of assistance because it's probably something that's been added on to somebody's responsibilities, and they've got a minimum of training. So we're just starting this program up April 1st, and it is to help counties make use of their GIS. So if you've got, like I saw the Arboretums thing, that's the type of thing that, you could pull up a GIS map and say, where are the Arboretums? And it would show if somebody inputs them, it would show where they are. So here's the good news. Your county addressing, your 911 operator that like when a new house is built decides what's the address of that new thing, they use GIS to pinpoint exactly where those homes are. That's why the ambulance can get there. It's extremely important service. But we're now supporting that. We will help them with the technological needs that they might have. And we actually have a person on our staff that spends a lot of time just inputting data into that system. So the highway department's out there. If there's a sign that's all shot up, they can hit a button and it pings it. And now the folks back at the shop know exactly where that sign is, rather than, I think it's about 10 miles past Johnson's old barn, the one that burned down. It's not there anymore. Those kind of directions are not very helpful. So counties are using them. So as you guys, find uses for that, you can work with your county and we can help with that. So a little add-on there. And like I said, it's not on my presentation yet because technically it doesn't exist yet, but we're, the people are in place and they're gearing up on it right now. And there's a webinar that we did on it. And that's a great segue about the webinars to my colleague, Alicia Adolph. She's going to tell you about the other item that I think you guys can find very helpful. And I say if you want, I still got a couple left that you can throw. And if not, they'll be out here. Yes, I can do that.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Yes, my name is Alicia with the Association of Counties, and I oversee the Professional Development Program, and that is ILG, and that stands for the Institute of Local Government, and really it's just a fancy name for our Professional Development Program at the Association of Counties. Our training is geared specifically for county officials and employees, but it's also available to the public. And sometimes, yes, we do specifically get in the weeds for our county officials, but a lot of training, especially when terms of HR, can be applicable to all of you as well.
Microphone
more?
for the camera.
Or hold that for a second. Oh.
I should have asked for that. I might have been an embarrassing homepage, so thanks for that.
So we conduct a lot of our training besides going out to member conventions and holding events ourselves. Our biggest way to reach our members is interactive live webinars, and they have been so popular due to the convenience and just limited time away from the job. We also record a lot of our training webinars, which is a big hit because you know how your days go, and we have a whole library of our trainings that Jeff will get up here in a moment that I can show you. Just a sample of some of our recent and upcoming trainings that we do. I'll touch on HR, but we talk about budgeting, bidding your projects, open meetings, open records, ethics, conducting meetings, how to properly run a meeting, elections, mill levies. We have a fantastic, top-notch legislative team, and so they're always keeping us up to date on legislative issues and the legislative process itself. Maybe something else, I know Jeff talked about safety. We do conduct monthly safety webinars, and we've gotten such a great following. The monthly safety webinars are 30 to 45 minutes at the most, and we've talked about, I made a list here, preventing backovers, first aid supplies, safe winter driving, heat illness prevention, working alone, alcohol abuse in the workplace, ATV safety. I think next month we're talking about tornado safety. They just talked about cleaning chemicals, all sorts of good stuff. The list is endless that we train on. Our topics are member driven, but like I said, a lot of topics may apply to you as well. We do track any training you take through the Association of Counties through our ILG Professional Development Program. We do track all of your training, and you would have a transcript in our office that you can access at any time, and that is awesome too, and carries with you with your professional development all the way through for you. And then with that, we also honor different level awards at our annual conference. So once you get 30 hours, that's like level 1, and we have awards for 100, 150 hours, 200, 300, all the way up to 400 hours. And we do have quite a few officials that reach those. That just shows the longevity as well in the counties. Going back to HR topics, you know, we don't have an abundance of HR directors or professionals in the counties. A lot of those duties fall on maybe the county auditor, but if you are in any supervisory role or management or leadership, HR is you. And we do offer a lot of, I mean, if you want to get technical, we can talk about veterans preference, FMLA, all of that good stuff. But a lot of we offered a supervisor skills webinar yesterday and had just about 200 that attended that. And gosh, I bet we maybe had, I haven't looked, but I don't even know if we had maybe a dozen actual HR directors because we just don't have them in the counties. But a lot of, it could be a road foreman, road superintendent, people from the sheriff's department, treasurer's office, just anybody that manages people took advantage of that webinar. And we also talk about hiring and firing, hiring the right people, dealing with difficult people, and how to handle those tough conversations. We can talk about stress, navigating change is a big one, resistance to change, all sorts of good stuff. Before I talk about the HR collaborative, so this is our homepage. ILG, and then actually NRG, Jeff kind of at the end touched on the technology subsidiary, that's them, NRG. But ILG, that logo, if Jeff clicks on that, it'll bring you up to our upcoming trainings, which that, you can go right down. You can see we're going to talk a lot about budgeting because that's coming up. The State Insurance Reserve Fund will have a training coming up. We'll be talking about tornado safety. All sorts of good stuff. A lot of trainings just fell off the calendar. We had a busy month, but they're constantly being updated and added. We can do anywhere from 5 to 10 webinars, training webinars a month. And then you just click on those and you can register. Our trainings are $30 an hour, but we have been so fortunate to have wonderful resources and some grant funding that a lot of our training is free, you'll find. And that's all right. When you click on a course, you'll see if there's a fee, who the presenter is, the course description. So those are our current upcoming webinars. And then where Jeff is over to the left, he'll click on library. And it's in alphabetical order. I think we got to put a search engine on here, or we've meant to. I don't know if we have one, but you can see all what's currently in our library. There's CEG. Those are all of our safety. That's our county employer group. And they put the safety webinars on. So you can see it tells how long they are. A lot of them are a half hour, the safety webinars, and so forth. And to watch or view a recording, you just simply drop me an email or call our office and they'll get you connected with me. And you also get your ILG credit, which will go to your transcript even viewing a recording. So that's pretty cool. And then another thing I wanted to touch base, if we go to the home page, or touch on, I should say, and scroll all the way down, you will see the HR collaborative right there, that icon, HR Guide for Local Government. So the HR collaborative for local government, it was created back in 2008 through a grant, and that consists of us at the Association of Counties, also our partners at the League of Cities, Parks and Rec Association, School Boards Association, and the State Insurance Reserve Fund. And we've all gathered together to put together human resource management tools, other resources, and training specifically for local government. And it's, right here is their website. And if you go under resources, one of our biggest accomplishments is that reference guide. And it's full of useful HR. Yep, you can click on that. And there's the PDF to the left. It's full of useful HR information. I highly encourage you to check it out. There's live links inside that reference guide. We've had, it's updated every so often and checked by professionals. We even have an attorney that looks it over. It's super helpful. And anyways, through the collaborative, so we have ILG, which is through the Association of Counties. That is strictly our professional development training. But then there's also this collaborative that we're a part of. And you can check out the training as well. For instance, this last summer, we offered 6 webinars, HR webinars. You could attend live, they're interactive, or you could view the recording. And to view all 6 trainings was only, I believe it was $50 an attendee. So it's very affordable if there even is a fee. So that's pretty exciting. And then the HR Collaborative, we are, as Jeff mentioned earlier, we are offering our annual conference, or our semi-annual conference, and that is an in-person event this year at the Bismarck Dakota Hotel, and that is April 20th and 21st. And there is a tentative agenda if you want to check it out on this website as well. I think if Jeff backs up just once, or right there. Click here to view the tentative agenda. And that'll bring up if you have any interest. You know, like I said, some might get pretty technical, and it might be for you. And if not, we have a lot that, like I said, if you are just in any leadership, management, supervisory role, it's for you. So, any questions on the training or the collaborative? Anything that we can answer for you, or anything at all from our programs? Yes.
I guess one question I would ask is, you know, I see a lot of similarities. We're both county-based, so you
Yeah.
guys are probably seeing it as well as a huge employer in small counties.
Yep.
What are you guys looking at for recruitment and detention? Are you guys seeing a lot of issues across North Dakota kind of popping up?
Absolutely, and there's been some trainings on that too. It kind of goes back to your work culture. I mean, you can only pay so much, benefits. I mean, you're trying to sell the whole package, but money is important. Benefits are important as well. And I think the younger generations, what they're finding out, you know, they're more money driven, and then you have to bring them in at maybe a higher pay, and then you have your veteran employees, and maybe they're close in pay. So yeah, there's a lot of conversation, a lot of training and talks on that too. Absolutely. Great question. But there's a whole bunch of stuff on that website. Oh, and the GIS program. If you're interested in it, we did do a webinar, and I can get you a copy of that. You can just drop me an email or go to our website. You'll find my email, and I can get you a recording if you want to learn more about the GIS program as well. Any closing comments, Jeff, that you have to add?
I was going to point out, I brought it back to the homepage because we have this little news channel. The third item there, local law enforcement departments struggle with recruiting and retaining officers. So it is a big enough deal that was like one of the lead stories in our newspaper recently. And I think, well, it was a study that we did, and I believe it's been shared out with the other media. So you may be seeing that in the newspapers as well. And I think yesterday or the day before, heard another story, and I don't even remember what the industry was, but that their biggest issue, and I know this is true in nursing, and our health officers were just meeting in our building. In fact, they are right now, yesterday and today. And yeah, recruitment and retention is very big. One of the difficulties is that one of our biggest advantages in county government, in your organizations as well, is the stability, retirement plans, benefits, that sort of thing. Unfortunately, that doesn't rank really high with the younger generation that you're trying to recruit from. So it takes a little salesmanship on your part to let them know. And sometimes after they put in their third 70-hour week on a truck, in the oil patch, to realize that maybe driving the blade for the county is a little bit, maybe you got to get up early when the snow flies, but it's only a few times a year compared to every day in the oil patch, and maybe passing up some of the high bucks, but getting a retirement plan, is worth it. So sometimes it just takes a little time for them to come to that conclusion, but yeah, it's definitely an issue.
Any information on, are you conducting a study currently between the sessions right now on ND PERS retirement?
Ah, that's a great topic. Yes. As you may have heard, in the legislature in the last two sessions, actually, bills were introduced to change ND PERS from basically a pension plan that it is now to what do they call it again? Something contribution. It's basically like a standard IRA, which would mean that the money is put in for you, but it's fixed. Fixed income versus fixed amount, I think. So when you retire with a pension, you get paid whatever that pension amount is. If you happen to live to 105, you still keep getting that check on your 105th birthday. But with a standard IRA, there's a certain amount of money that you get. And when you're done, when you've drawn it all out, it quits. It doesn't matter if you're 75 or 105. And those are obviously cheaper plans.
And there are legislators who want to change the state, which a lot of you participate in the ND-PERS program, from a pension to a fixed asset, or whatever they call it, some technical term. One of the things that happens, though, is all of the people who are contributing to this system, if you stop the system, they stop contributing to it and they contribute to their own fund. Well, how are all the people who are currently set up to receive a pension at 65? Where's that money gonna come from if nobody's contributing to it? I mean, if you're 45, you got 20 years worth of that fund disappearing, and then you show up at retirement and it's all gone. So in order to make that transition, they have to figure out a way to fund the old system that they're replacing, until it's gone, until the last pension person dies, which is gonna be 50 years from now. I heard that Michigan did it, and they estimated something like $4 billion, so they set that aside, and it was gone in like 3 years. I mean, it is way more than they think it's gonna be, and people are living longer, so it just keeps getting harder and harder. So that's the problem. What's the solution? We're working on it. We do show up at all of those hearings. We testify, certainly when asked, but also sometimes we just step up there to remind them that when they created that system, they didn't feel that there were enough state employees to make it work, so what did they do? They invited us, counties and cities. So we are actually the majority of that system that they're trying to trash. And we kind of remind them that without us, they're in a world of hurt. And so, I don't know. I don't know what the solution's gonna be. If they find a way to do it, they're gonna probably have to tap into the legacy fund or something, because it's gonna take a tremendous amount of cash to keep the current system. I mean, it's a contract. So rest at ease. If you're in the ND-PERS system, that is a contract. They are absolutely legally obligated to give you that pension. So they have to figure out a way to meet all those contracts if they're going to eliminate that system and start new employees with something else. It's a challenge. I don't know what the answer is. Honestly, the answer is don't do anything. Keep working with the pension.
That's where we get to the retention part of it, is they're changing to a system that's not as good.
Right. I would agree that it's not as good. If I was trying to sell it, I would say the advantage is that it's more yours, and so it's more portable. If you just move on to another job, it's like any other IRA. You can just roll it over. It's a little harder to do that with a pension. It's not impossible, but yeah, I agree. The idea that you can, from even a beginner salary, you're getting in on a pension program that by the time you retire, a lot of retirees get more out of their pension than they had out of their salary, because they built it up for, if you work for 30 years and you retire for 15, well, that's pretty good math in your favor to get some good money out of it. But like I said, if they stop contributing, that fund dries up in a heck of a hurry. So yeah, we're all over it. I'll say that much. Don't know if we can stop legislature from doing some of the things that they do, but we've actually got a really good track record. And I'm not saying this just because I'm biased, because I work there, because I don't really have anything to do with the legislation. I mean, I don't testify on bills or anything, so these are my colleagues I'm talking about, but they are the most respected group of lobbyists on the Hill. You ask anybody and they'll tell you, cities and counties, because we work together as a team, they ask us to come and testify on legislation that they know affects local government, because they know they'll get the truth from us. Because we don't do the cigar smoke and arm bending and backroom stuff. We just show up and give them the facts. That's a long answer, sorry, but it's a very complicated issue. Any other questions? All right. Again, I'll have all of this stuff sitting out there for you, and some more of those freebies that I threw
Thank you
around.
very much.
There you go.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Thanks for reaching out.